Good morning, everybody, all you beautiful souls out in YouTube land. We're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to shout out Titan Fitness out here in Pekin and Peoria, Illinois. They got a couple other spots. But when I am in Illinois, I love to go to Titan Fitness. That is one of my go-to gyms. No, this is not a sponsored ad for Titan Fitness. But I figured, you know what, if we're going to start wearing brands, we're going to start shouting them out. Why not? That's what we want to do. We want to spread. We want to grow. We want to share. That's the whole point. So this channel is about fitness, therapy, health, and healing. So anyways, with that being said, we are on episode 15. So a little bit different because a lot of the other episodes leading up to this have been stuff like determination, perseverance, pressure. I guess we have pressure, sacrifice, and surrender. So episode 15, this week, we are going to talk about regret. Or, let's say the lack of regrets, right? Because we're here for mindset awareness and mindset shifting. So, we'll give you the quick definition. I guess the AI overview of the true meaning of regret would be to feel sorrow, disappointment, or guilt over something that you did or did not do, wishing things had turned out differently, and usually involves some level of self-blame or a sense of loss for past choices. So there's a lot of things in life that I'm sure you or people that you know would say that they regret. They regret, their childhood, or they regret being a dumbass when they were growing up, or they regret never having a family, or they regret cheating on their husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends. They regret never pursuing their dreams. And here's the thing with regret, guys, girls. It will always keep you living in that past. It will always hold you to the memory of what it is that you may be regretting. So if you understand that you can feel sad, you can feel maybe regretful for a limited amount of time, do not hold that over your own head for the remainder of your life. Right? Do not allow somebody else to hold that over your head for the remainder of your or their lives, right? So I wanted to share a story that ties this in to this episode, right? That ties this into regret. So I'm going to be very candid. And because that's what I am, authentic, and I've made very good peace with myself growing up. But I just like to share my story. I like to share my life, my experiences. And so growing up, I was super, super introverted, super shy. I was quick to anger. I had a lot of anger or attachments to just frustration, irritation, annoyance. I remember, my family would always say, "You're always annoyed. You're always annoyed. Everything annoys you." And it was one of those things like, when I was younger, I had a lot of regrets. I regretted not going to parties. I regretted not having a girlfriend. I regretted not going further with my girlfriends at the time. So straightforward and honest, guys, I didn't lose my virginity until I was almost 21. And it was something that I had the opportunities and I had those chances leading up before I was 20. But it was one of those things where it just never felt comfortable. It didn't feel right. I was anxious. I was nervous. I was scared. I was really, really scared of having some accident, right? Ending up getting some girl pregnant at 17, 18. That was a huge fear of mine. And then also having to have that responsibility of, if you're old enough and you're going to do this, then you're going to be responsible for anything that might happen or come from it, meaning and including emotional trauma, physical trauma, mental trauma, and all that fun stuff. Like, we deal with all of this in our 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s with other women, other men. And yeah, I didn't want to deal with it when I was in my teenage years. And, you know, I see some of these young kids now, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, you don't even have any true comprehension, especially with all the OnlyFans stuff and everything out there. It's like there's such a disconnect from the energetic, emotional components of sensuality and sexuality that's just out there. And there's no connection with the emotional piece, the energetic piece, how that intertwining connection actually unfolds and takes place. It's just very mechanical and physical for a lot of people now. But anyways, I regretted a lot of those choices of not taking it to that level and missing what I would have thought of as opportunities to be with different women and to have that experience at a younger age. But it just wasn't what I wanted, and it didn't feel right. Like, I always wanted to be able to go to parties and fit in, and I always wanted to be a part of that, but didn't want to do it. Like, it just didn't. I've never drank, I've never smoked, I've never tried drugs, I've never had a cigarette, I've never vaped, I've never had alcohol. It was something that I just never wanted to do. It was something I didn't want to try. And when you're younger and you want to fit in and you want to do things, you always look back in hindsight, I wish I just did it. I wish I wasn't afraid. I wish I pushed forward. I wish I just took the jump, and, you know, why can't I just fit in? Why didn't I just have sex with this girl? You know, it would have just gotten out of the way. It would have been good. You know, blah, blah, blah. And so you learn over time that regret just keeps you held and tied to that past experience. It's not letting you move forward. You're judging yourself. You're holding yourself hostage to these negative feelings, instead of looking at it as, there's a reason I didn't do it. There's a reason that I chose this over this. And so when you start letting go of regret and understanding, hey, it's unfolding the way it's supposed to be unfolding in accordance to the decisions and the choices that I am making in the present moments. I'm going to say that again. It's unfolding. Your life, the path is unfolding before you exactly the way it is supposed to be, based on the choices and the decisions that you are making in each moment. So if you weren't supposed to be there, you would have consciously or subconsciously made a different choice, and it would have taken you to a different place, which would be exactly where you're supposed to be, because those are the choices that brought you there. There is zero point in regretting not being somewhere, not having done something, or having done something that you wish you hadn't done, because every single choice is a lesson and teaches you something if you're aware and open to learning that lesson, right? And so, same thing. I used to hold regret over the fact that I never got signed to WWE. I never got a contract for AEW. I don't even think it was around at the time. TNA, ROH, WWE. I never got a contract, and I would should I have done this? I should have took that wrestling booking. I shouldn't have missed this. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have had that extra cake at the holidays. I felt fat when I was working. Maybe that was my opportunity. I missed that. And you can literally slide way the fuck down into depression and despair land. And if you stay there, your life will be miserable. So I held on to a lot of these things. I would place self-judgment on myself. I would blame myself. I had no willpower. Why did you do this? You should have done this. Why did you say no? You should have said yes. Why did you say yes? You should have said no. And there's no point in holding on to the regret because, again, it prevents you from moving forward. And there's one thing that I like to tell my clients all the time is an unhealed past. Meaning if you're still attached to something that happened to you, if you haven't been able to let it go, if you're harboring anger, frustration, resentment, judgment, regrets, an unhealed past will bleed into your present, and it will stain your future. And what that means is, for most people, and this is more of a Buddhist philosophy, is life only happens in the present moment. Presently, right now, I'm thinking of nothing else other than filming and talking to you in this conversation. My brain has 1,000 things that it could be thinking about, and I'm not regretting doing this right now, even though there's 1,000 other things that I need to be doing. I'm presently in this moment, having this conversation, putting forth this energy 100% here in the present moment. And what that means is an unhealed past is most people are either living in memory, which is the past. Life doesn't happen in memory. It only happens in the present moment. It doesn't matter what I have to do after this. That isn't here yet. This moment is the only moment in time currently that does exist where life is happening in each moment. 3 minutes ago was already gone. If I'm worrying about what I said, I'm living in the past, right? That was already 3 minutes ago. We're here now in this present moment. And so most people are either living in the past or they're living in the future. And the future is going to bring you anxiety, right? Because you're living in a potential future that has not happened yet, may never happen, but yet you're attaching to imagination. Or you're living in memory and you've attached yourself to memory and you're not living in the present. So an unhealed past will bleed into your present, and then that blood will stain the future. So when people are unhealed, when people are holding on to regret, when they're holding on to wishing their life looked different, wishing they had done something different, well, we can't change the past. That is now a memory. But what we can do is not allow the past to affect our present choices or energy or beliefs or mindset so that it doesn't stain our future. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I can't break that down any more clear. But holding on to regret was what was holding me back, right? Holding on was holding me back. Letting go, it was allowing me to propel forward. So instead of holding yourself back with regrets, I can honestly tell you that every part of this journey, and I believe now, 40 years into this life. 40. There's not one thing that I would say I regret. And that is 150% authentically true. I have cheated on people, and I have been cheated on. And I never cheated on anybody until I was cheated on. And that created a program that I operated for a while in my brain. I never made it to WWE. I have stepped on people in the course of my life to try to get to where I needed to be. I had played a persona. I didn't know who I was. I didn't discover my true self until later on, almost 30, like I said, 30, 31. But I'm going to be real and open. There's nothing better in life than to learn from the experiences. There's some experiences that were a lot worse and some that were so much better. But I don't like to say bad experiences or good experiences because at the end of the day, it's just an experience. If something horrible happens to me, I can choose to keep that as a horrible experience, or I can choose to say, man, that sucked. Absolutely. Maybe I don't quite understand why it happened, why I went through this, why this was happening to me. But again, maybe it's happening for me. And I can't understand it yet. But if I can start to shift the mindset and learn from that experience, right? It's just like life. The weather doesn't care if you're happy or sad. If you're sad, it's not going to snow. If you're happy, the sun's not going to shine. You might be in a great, brilliant mood, and we have thunderstorms. And it might thunderstorm and rain for a week or two. It's not tied to how you feel. It's just an experience. You experience the weather as it comes. Minus all of the weather manipulation and all that other fun stuff that we could get into. But even that, you experience it as it comes. If it snows, it snows. You make the most of the snow. If you don't like snow, you stay in. If you have to go out, you make the most of having to go out. It's just a part of what you have to do. So when you've made choices in your life, don't ever hold yourself to regret for those choices. Understand you made that in the moment, and that was the choice that you needed for the lesson that you had to learn. And maybe the choice wasn't so good. And maybe the choice was much better. Maybe the choice helped you and hurt somebody else. We don't know. Probably all of it, right? But I can tell you that I don't regret a single thing because everything has taught me something. And the person that you're listening to right now, this version of me talking to you, is only here because of everything that I have gone through, everything that has happened to me, for me, every choice, every decision, every action that I have taken has brought me to this moment in time, this present moment, present version of myself. And honestly, there's probably a lot of people who don't like me. There's probably a lot of people who still think and hold on to the version that I used to be. I know some of my exes probably do. I know some of the wrestlers probably do. They only knew Christian Frost. They didn't know this version. They didn't know Chris Kalis. So they only can hold on to what they knew. But that's not me. So I don't regret anything because without everything, goods and bads, this version wouldn't exist. This conversation wouldn't be happening. So understanding, right, everything is temporary, including life. I think we talked about this. Everything is temporary. Let go of regret. Let go of attachment. Let go of judgment. It's all temporary. You can choose to take it with you to the grave, or you can choose to unburden yourself and forgive yourself, give yourself grace, and understand, hey, Yeah, maybe I was a scumbag back in the day. Maybe I was a player. Maybe I cheated on a bunch of people. Maybe I caused pain to other people. But I can choose to grow. I can choose to mature. I can choose to heal. And if that is what in fact happened, then that pain or suffering or sadness or anger that somebody else is experiencing because of my choices, that's a part of their journey as well. And so we're always teachers and students. And you can learn to grow and mature and evolve from regret, or you can allow regret to pull you down, and it will keep you there, and it will visit with all of its other friends: judgment, depression, despair, sadness, and eventually anger, and potentially denial, and all of those other fun negative feelings that we don't need to have. But again, if that's where you are, understand that's where you're supposed to be. If you weren't supposed to be there, you wouldn't be there. Right? All right, guys. Well, that is my story on regret and letting it go. So I hope these episodes are helping you guys shift your mindset, helping you learn a little bit more about me, a little bit more about what I do, my business, why I do what I do, the passion that I have, and above all else, just the authentic version of myself. So again, as always, please hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and like button. And if you like or don't like anything we've talked about, please leave a comment. Let me know. I'd love to hear from it. It helps the algorithm as well, good, bad, or indifferent. It helps. And we will see you guys next week in episode 16.